mute, TV mute, watching ECW.
Oh wow.
So like for me, and it was
That's
just
right. I keep
because,
forgetting that you're younger
and I
than
just
me.
became,
I keep forgetting you were.
I'm a spring chicken over here. You ain't that much
Girl.
older, so please.
I got you by at least 5 years. At least.
You still look at them.
Thank
You
you.
seasoned.
Thank you.
Other than that, so yeah, Survivor Series 2002 for me, one of my favorite memories of all time. Also, I wanted to talk about the infamous Montreal screw job.
Oh man.
And I always laugh about it kind of because I'm like, yo, that really was Survivor Series. Like, what?
I keep forgetting that was a Survivor
Yeah,
Series.
I
You know
literally
that?
forget every time. And then when I watch like either a Raw, like the Raw after when Vince had made his statement, like, he wasn't like Brett screwed Brett. When he said the infamous Brett screwed Brett line, I was just like, Vinny, really?
Oh my God.
Come on.
That was the biggest thing. People, I was in high school when that happened. That was the biggest thing that the boys in the cafeteria were talking about. They were like, yo, do you think that was real? I was like, I think that was real. I said, I don't think that was fake.
I don't know.
My mother had said it. Like, we were watching it at home. My mother was like, that looks really real to me.
Listen, you know how I knew it was real? When Brett spat in Vince McMahon's face. I said, oh no.
That's this. Let me tell you something.
And then, that's wild. And then what I actually appreciated was when, I think it was the first season of Dark Side of the Ring. And everybody told, and you heard really more of the story from Earl Hebner's side.
Yeah.
And, and things like that. So I haven't, there's moments in wrestling that changes wrestling forever. Montreal Screwjob definitely top 3 easy of moments that changes wrestling forever because it is one of those things up until probably within the last 10, 15 years even, Brett and fucking Shawn Michaels had beef forever.
It was on site.
It was bad. It got
personal.
Yeah, it got real bad. And and at the time Shawn wasn't in a good space. Nobody really wanted to fuck with him because, he was doing, drugs and alcohol and all that shit. Like, he was living like a rock star. And then Brett was just basically and that's why, the part of it when Vince said Brett screwed Brett, it was just like, Brett, did you really think he was going to let you go on Nitro with that title? Did you really
But the thing is, you don't know if he would have done that. The thing, it was just so many, everybody was right and everybody was wrong.
Right.
It was one of those situations where you can't put a finger on who was the bad
guy.
It
literally is the meme of Spider-Man when it's you. So
and it changed. Let me tell you something. It changed it because after that, I think that the Attitude Era needed that.
Yeah, it kickstarted everything.
Because the Attitude Era was already happening under the guise of the DX, right? And then what it did was it made what was missing was the Mr. McMahon character. And that was kind of born out of
it came, because Vince came from out of the commentary booth, and was in the ring, and they started announcing him because that was 97,
97.
So even after then, even on commentary, you would hear JR say the owner, or when they announced Vince, the owner of the World Wrestling Federation, you were just like, wait, huh, what?
I didn't even know. I didn't know that he was the owner of the.
Not until they announced that shit. When he would come
then.
out, I was like, oh, he does commentary. Oh, okay, cool. Because, when I started, probably back in the day when I was watching WWF, I would see Vince and I would see Macho on commentary and things like that. And I never really thought oh, my God, he's the owner. Which, honestly, people will say what they want to say about Vince, but literally to be in a job or have a company where you've literally been in every position speaks volumes. You can relate. You can relate on so many different levels.
Yeah, man.
And that's what people don't like. People, of course, because of their fandom, is gonna be blinded by the fact that Vince does this and Vince is out of touch and not a lot. And it's just Vince has been in commentary. He's been on screen. He's put his family on screen.
And he is the epitome of, I'm not going to ask you to do what I won't do.
Correct.
And there's not a lot of bosses on screen that would allow that.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? That's somebody that's in the weeds with you. You get what I'm saying? So
and will sacrifice. Vince blew both his quads. fucking running into the ring for Batista and John Cena to restart their fucking match. Like,
Oh my
what?
God.
Who does that? And I'll never forget. Like I tell people all the time, one of the best interviews we had was with rest in peace Shad Gaspar.
God.
And the way that Shad, and that's what I always recommend. Like, if you have not ever heard that episode, please go back.
That was a powerful one
and
for you guys.
and listen. Thank you.
So
Go
much
back to
more.
watch that episode, because the way that Shad spoke about Vince, I already knew off bat. I was like, yo, I will never even let anybody say anything bad about Vince around me, period. Because for Shad to be on the phone and say, like, listen, any opportunity or anytime Vince saw me, he always made sure I was good. He always said, like, yo, if you want to come back, we'll make it happen. Like, we will work. Like, I will work with you. And for him to have that type of relationship with Vince, I was just like, listen, unless you got that type of relationship with Vince, you really can't talk shit. Like,
but you know what kills me about, we can continue on with the list. These are people who have no idea what it takes to
sacrifice.
Run a wrestling promotion, a global entertainment company, and these are the people who, it's like the 10% talking for the 90%.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess because of the world that you're in, you're on a really powerful Black wrestling podcast, right? You hear those criticisms
all the time.
Often. So my thing is, like, sometimes I've wondered, how would these people book this and book that, and they can't book themselves a flight to Miami, let alone book a whole program. And the thing is, when it comes to entertainment, not everybody's going to be happy, but you're still watching.
Right. There's not a moment where people will be like, oh, I can't stand the product. It is what it is. But guess what? Every Monday and Friday nights, you're going to be watching this
and
shit.
complaining.
And still talk shit.
But you still give your ratings.
But you're still doing it. And that's just fans in general. But
like the people who's booing Roman Reigns. If you wanted Roman Reigns to stop, you should have just stayed silent. Because if he's getting the loudest reaction of the night, when you're at certain points in the stadiums, you can't hear if something is a boo or a cheer.
Mm-hmm.
When I was on the floor for one of the WrestleManias. I was on the ground, and people were like, "Yo, you didn't hear those boos?" I'm like, "It didn't. It just sounded like a lot of noise."
Yeah, because when you're in a stadium, you just don't like. I can say, like, for Orlando, because to be honest, Orlando was my favorite WrestleMania like experience. I think just in general. New Orleans was just a different type of vibe. Because everybody that kind of went with us, that was their first WrestleMania. So like for me, I was already I was already, but that was number 4. So for me, I was just like, but I love the city of New Orleans. So it just was the fact that I was there. I was more hype about that. But Orlando for me, just in general, to see just the whole fucking card, to see Naomi fucking win in her hometown.
That was nice.
Like, even
the Cena engagement was super sweet. My daughter was showcasing